Tomlinson to move that motion. Minister Tomlinson.
With permission, Mr Speaker, I beg to move that the draft Social Security Benefits Uprating Order 2019, which was laid before the House on the 30th of January, be approved. In my view, the provisions in this order are compatible with the European Convention on Human Rights. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Social Security Benefits Uprating Order 2019 reflects the Government's continuing commitment to increase the basic and full rate of the new state pension by the triple lock, increase the pension credit standard minimum guarantee in line with earnings, and increase carers' benefits and benefits intended to meet additional disability needs in line with prices. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Government's commitment to the triple lock means the basic state pension will continue to be uprated by the highest of earnings, prices or 2.5%. The triple lock has been an invaluable tool in combating pensioner poverty, and keeping it in place gives pensioners the financial security and certainty they deserve. This year, the increase in earnings was the highest of the triple lock figures, and as a result, the basic state pension will increase by 2.6%, rising to £129.20 a week for a single person. And consequently, from April this year, the basic state pension will be over £1,600 a year higher than in April 2010. And we estimate that the basic state pension will be around 18.4% of average earnings, one of the highest levels relative to earnings for over 2 decades. And 3 years ago, the Government introduced the new state pension, which provides a transparent and sustainable foundation for private saving and retirement planning for people reaching state pension age on or after the 6th of April 2016. And we have also committed the increase the full rate of the new state pension by the triple lock, and as such, from April 29, the full rate of the state pension will increase to £168.60 a week. This is around 24% of average earnings. Yes.
I'm grateful. If he won't, may I say that that increase does not go to half our overseas pensioners, including the people in South Africa and Canada and Australia and other places, 50 countries around the world. And would my honourable friend agree with me? It's about time we considered that.
I thank my honourable friend, and I know he's campaigned tirelessly on this issue, and it has been the case for some 70 years that we don't uprate those pensions. And at this stage, there is no plans to make any changes to that. And turning to the additional state pension, Madam Deputy Speaker, this year state earnings-related pension schemes and the other state second pensions, as well as protected payments in the new state pension, will rise by 2.4% in line with prices. And with pension credit, we're continuing to take steps to protect the poorest pensioners. This includes through the pension credit standard minimum guarantee, the means-tested threshold below which pensioner income should not fall. The pension credit standard minimum guarantee will rise by 2.6% in line with average earnings. From April 2019, the single person threshold of this safety net benefit will rise to £160.25, over £1,800 a year higher than it was in 2010.
I'm grateful to the Minister for giving way. What assessment has the Government done on the changes to pension credit which will come in May this year, in terms of not making pension credit available to those people whose partner is under 65? How many more pensioners will be driven into poverty as a result of this effect?
Well, there's two elements to that. Firstly, it depends on the individual circumstances and how factors, the different arrangements in terms of whether they're working, their caring responsibilities, their health conditions will impact on that. But secondly, it's about the principle of fairness, that those of working age shouldn't be accessing pensioner-related benefits, because we should not be taking people of a working age out of the working place. And pensioner poverty continues to stand at one of the lowest rates since comparable records began, and we intend to keep it that way. Yeah. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll come back. Madam Deputy Speaker, turning to universal credit, in the 2018 autumn budget statement, the Chancellor announced additional assistance for those on universal credit. As such, the universal credit work allowance will increase by £1,000 after they've increased by prices, and this will help 2.4 million working families. This measure raises the amount someone can earn before their universal credit payment is reduced and directs additional support to some of the most vulnerable, low-paid working families. And Madam Deputy Speaker, finally, let me turn to disability benefits. This year, the Government will continue to make sure that carers and people who face additional costs as a result of their disability will get the additional support they need.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Minister for giving way. But I have to ask him, is that it? We're in the middle of a benefits freeze that is seeing family poverty rise, and that is all the Minister has got to say about it.
Well, I'm bringing forward plans to increase support for some of the most vulnerable people in society to the tune of £3.5 billion with this uprating order. £3 billion alone to help those with disabilities, long-term health conditions and pensioners. Key people that we, as a government, as we share the proceeds of growth, will continue to target the support towards. And this is why that we are seeing those with the lowest incomes have risen by over £400 in real terms since 2010, while those the wealthiest fifth in society have seen their income fall by £800, because we recognise the right place to target support with additional measures, including the introduction of the national living wage, worth £2,000 a year, the increase of the income tax threshold at £1,200 a year. Now, I'll just make some more progress. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, these increases will cover the disability living allowance, the attendance allowance, the carers allowance, the incapacity benefit and personal independence payment. They will all rise by 2.4% in line with prices from April 2019. Yes.
I thank the Minister for giving way, and I appreciate some of the uprating that has gone on, but we also have to note, as the key stakeholders in this sector have, that the biggest driver of child poverty that this government is enforcing is the benefit freeze, with £4.5 billion due to be saved this coming year. Why hasn't this government brought forward the necessary legislation to scrap the final year of that freeze?
Well, as I've set out before, as the economy has continued to grow, we've been able to share the proceeds of growth to help support some of the most vulnerable people in society, which has seen the increases the income tax threshold, which will reach £12,500 this year, taking 4 million of the lowest earners out of paying any income tax at all. We are seeing significant additional support for those with children in terms of childcare, where spending in 2010 was £4 billion. By 2020, that will be £6 billion. Madam Deputy Speaker, a 50% increase as part of our doubling of free childcare support, helping particularly those lone parents as they seek to take advantage of the record employment in all regions. One more, I'll do, yes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Minister for being generous and giving way again, because he knows as well as I do that none of the figures that he just announced add up to the £12 billion worth of welfare cuts that were previously announced by George Osborne in this House. So we know that by the end of all of this benefits freeze and the other measures that the government have brought about, children in this country in poverty are worse off by this government. Isn't that right?
But we know from the announcements over the recent two budgets that spending on working age benefits will be £2 billion higher than they would have been under the legacy benefits, and that is why we are now seeing 300,000 children fewer in absolute poverty as we continue to target support at those most vulnerable in society. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, in addition, I'm going to make some progress. In addition, the carer and disability premiums paid with pension credit and working age benefits, the employment and support allowance support component and the limited capability for work and work-related activity element of universal credit will also increase by 2.4%. These increases continue to ensure that our welfare system provides the most support for the people who need it. So, in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, in this order, the Government proposes to spend an extra £3.7 billion in 2019-20 on increasing benefit and pension rates. With this spending, we are upholding our commitment to the country's pensioners, maintaining the triple lock, helping the poorest pensioners account on pension credit and ensuring working people can earn more before their universal credit payment is reduced, and providing essential support to disabled people and carers. Madam Deputy Speaker, I commend this order to the House.